As the third season of one of this generation's most original and fascinating sci-fi shows came to a close, many fans have speculated on what Season 4 might have in store for us. In this video, we'll be diving into some of the juiciest theories surrounding the Hellfire Club, the party, and all the other players around Hawkins and the Upside Down. Theory 1. 11 will get her powers back with the help of Dr. Brenner. We know this sounds like it would be a horrible experience for Elle being back with Papa in a laboratory setting, maybe even restrained or as a prisoner. The necessity to save her friends may absolutely push Elle to take drastic measures and turn to her former captors in an attempt to regain her telekinetic powers. Hopefully it doesn't come to this, but it is a plausible theory nonetheless. Theory 2. Hopper didn't actually die. In Season 3, we're never actually shown Hopper's death, although the explosion appeared to be his end. Many have theorized that he didn't die, but is instead still in the Upside Down and will emerge in a different time period. One preview of Season 4 shows us a scene with a newspaper dated March 1959. That isn't the only teaser that's been hinted at time travel. In Hopper's emotional letter to 11, he mentions turning back time. Many fans are quick to point out references to Back to the Future and are excited at the prospect of time travel becoming a major part of the Stranger Things universe in Season 4. Theory 3. The Russians have Murray Bauman. While the Russians mention, the American fans are quick to point out that it is absolutely in the realm of possibilities that they're talking about Murray Bauman. It's not far-fetched that at the height of the Cold War they'd be paying close attention to a major newspaper that is reporting on anything as crazy and conspiratorial as the stuff Murray was writing about in the Chicago Sun-Times. There's also a scene in Season 2 in which we're shown cameras in the Hawkins lab that may have been secretly installed by the Russians after they were led to the lab by Bauman. Don't forget, Bauman is also fluent in Russian. The final clue wrapping this theory with a neat little bow is the fact that Bauman was nowhere to be seen at the end of Season 3. Theory 4. Stranger Things writers will incorporate events such as the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Each season of Stranger Things has corresponded to a specific year, starting with Season 1 taking place in 1983. Following this pattern, Season 4 will take place in 1986, the year the Chernobyl nuclear power plant had a catastrophic meltdown. Whether it be tied to the Upside Down experiments as a cover-up or related to something we do not know about yet, it's not unlikely writers will not take advantage of something as eerie and mysterious as the nuclear disaster. Theory 5. The writers will incorporate the Dyatlov Pass incident. If you've never heard of the real-life events that took place in the Ural Mountains back in 1959, you're missing out on one of the great mysteries of the 20th century. 9. Experienced hikers perished in some of the weirdest ways. To this day, there is no concrete explanation of why or how it happened. It's a perfect real-world incident to use as part of the Stranger Things storyline. Theory 6. Hopper did die. We hate to even think of this as a distinct possibility, but the fact of the matter is that he absolutely could have died in the Season 3 finale. This would mean that all of the teasers we have seen that include Hopper as a Russian prisoner are in fact only flashbacks. It all makes sense, as it would be a way for the writers to continue to develop Hopper as a character without minimizing the sacrifice of his death. Theory 7. Hopper is going to return as a bad guy. There have been some speculation that Hopper may return as a brainwashed Russian asset. This is backed up by a quote coming from David Harbour himself, in which he states, "Really excited to let people see these really deep colors in him, because each season we see a different side of him, and last season he was a bit wackier. I love playing that, but now I think he's painted a bit of a darker palette, and he's able to express these really deep things about him that we don't really know yet." This, along with the already progressing Russia storyline, points to a Hopper we haven't seen before. Theory 8. 11 is going to die. No, this is a theory none of us want to come true, but it's been talked about by fans all over the internet. If it becomes true, she gets her powers back, then no doubt she will be engaged in battle with all the creatures she inadvertently unleashed when coming to our world from the Upside Down. Having a final showdown between her and the monsters would only be fitting way to wrap things up as a series. Having Elle sacrifice herself to save all the people she's grown to love would solidify her selflessness, a character trait we see time and time again. Theory 9. Steve and Nancy are going to get back together. Okay, we know this isn't the most pertinent fact to be pondering while it's unknown whether certain characters are alive or dead, but it's a romance everyone's rooting for in the end. Steve has gone through an immense growing up period since the two originally split back in season 1, and it's no stretch of the imagination to think that Nancy could run into him at the Blockbuster he works at. Jonathan's more focused on the Upside Down, which could drive Nancy away from him as she wants to put it all behind her. This could lead to the original couple, Steve and Nancy, becoming reunited once more. Theory 10. Murray will rescue Hopper from Russia. So assuming that Hopper can get a message out calling for rescue from his Russian captors, it would totally make sense that the investigative prowess of Mr. Murray Palman would be the perfect set of tools to discover where he is and thus being the one to rescue him from his captors. This theory is another one that is backed up by the fact that Murray is fluent in Russia and can use his detective skills and ability to speak Russian to infiltrate the Russian base that's holding Hopper prisoner. Theory 11. Eleven is going to become a villain. We know that Elle's powers have always been directly connected to her emotions, and the fact that she's been moved away from everyone she cares about could lead her to feel sadness and loneliness. If she does in fact start to get her powers back, these negative emotions could lead her to start using them for evil. The show's writers were asked about Elle's position in season 4, and they replied with the song Cosmic Love by Florence and the Machine, which the lyrics are about coping with the loss of a loved one and explicitly say at the end of the song, "So darkness I became," an ominous reply to the question. Theory 12. Eleven's powers were lost because she was bitten. In the season 3 finale, Eleven gets bitten by the Mind Flayer's monster, the hive mind consisting of all the humans, which are all consuming toxic chemicals, could be the explanation behind Elle losing her powers after she was bitten by the monster. Some fans theorize that the monster's venom was in some way created to dull her powers. That was why she was left powerless, at least for now. Theory 13. The Russians are working with Dr. Brenner. One of the biggest mysteries that we hope will be explained in season 4 is who is the American the Russians are speaking of in season 3. Some fans believe it is none other than Dr. Brenner. We know that he is the one who created Eleven back in season 1, and maybe since then he was picked up and became an asset for the Russians. We've already seen him in sneak previews of season 4, so we know he's going to pop up somewhere. Question is where. Theory 14. The Russian base is inside the Upside Down. Many fans cannot stop talking about what's happening in the Russian base at the end of season 3. Some fans have postulated that the base is not actually in our world, but is located in the Upside Down. Once the Russians open their portal into the Upside Down, it isn't out of the realm of possibility that they would open a forward operating base. That is what we're shown in season 3. It's also theorized that this is where Hopper is being held, as it would be where he ended up if he were able to jump through a portal just before the explosion took place. It's no doubt that season 4 will be another entertaining chapter of one of the freshest sci-fi adventures of this generation. We hope you enjoyed this list of theories as much as we enjoyed pondering over them ourselves.